Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to AriesEDC and another edition of TNFNU thoughts and feelings and updates. So, the two biggest things that I get with any of my knives that I make is number one, it's too small. I wish it was a 4-finger grip. Let's see, what else? The blade's too small, blah, blah, blah. Small. And I think I've figured that out now that I have the Bloom XL, the Rock Copper XL, the Cardinal XL, the Stigma, the Pistol, the Crow. I even have the Spike and the Hawk that I just finished that are now full 4 fingers. So there are several different options now as far as getting a 4-finger knife. And there might be at least one more. But the Hawk turned out really stinking cool. Nice 4-finger, and it's still a small blade. I think a lot of people are going to like that. But I think I solved the size issue. I still stand by the Thorn, the Bloom, and the Rock Copper as being staple designs that I like. They disappear when you carry them, yet the way that I form things and do things make them feel big. So I still think that those are going to be my favorites to make and to carry. But I know if some people like to have the 4 fingers, so I think I have solved that. At least I hope. Or if there's somebody who's looking for something that's full 4 fingers, maybe the Cardinal XL is a good option for you. So I think I've done the size. And then the second thing that I get asked quite often is steels. Will I be working with S90V or more Magna Cut or some of these other premium steels? And number one, I owe somebody an apology. Nick Martino, if you're out there, if you're watching this, if you're not watching this and you know Nick, let him know. I apologize to you because you asked a question and I kind of blew it off, and I didn't mean it to make you think that I felt it was a stupid question or anything. It's a valid question, and I apologize because it's been brought up on many occasions why I use the steels that I use. And I use the steels that I use on a couple of things. Number one, availability. They are all readily available to me. Number two, price. They come at a reasonable price, which I can afford, and that means I can pass those savings on to you. 3, ease of use. I can work with them. I don't find them challenging in the way, and I'm not using any more abrasives than I normally would. You use something like S90V, or I think S30 or S35 gave somebody a bunch of problems. I've done Magna Cut, and I didn't have any too major issues with it. After it's heat treated, that's where I get a lot of my issues, and if trying to correct something after it's heat treated is very difficult to do. So that's why I use the steels that I use. They are durable, they are tough, they still would be great for what they're doing, but they're not like the fancy numbers and everything else. So that brings up a debate, because me and a couple other people were really discussing this the other day. And it just boils down to, what are you using your knives for? And why do you need all of these designer steels? There are old school makers that I talk to that will swear by their recipe for heat treating 440C, and they will swear up and down that they'll put that up against anything. Now, I don't know whether that's good or bad. That's just what they feel. For me, when it comes to my custom knives, and when it comes to custom in general, when you're a small batch knife maker, you're able to push that heat treat pretty far. And most people will take their steels and push them as far as they can because they're working with 2 or 3, 4 blades at a time. Where production companies are in the hundreds, maybe thousands at a time. And they're heat treating in very large numbers. And they have very large kilns. And there's heat discrepancies within that. And then so you might get a bad one here and there. That's why some steels get a bad rap, just because maybe one knife reviewer or 2 knife reviewers got a bad batch, and then they said something, and then that gets rid of that steel. Well, that steel's horrible. It's blah, blah, blah. The big thing right now is like the Italian in M390. Now, I'll agree. It's gotten better, but there was a point in time where I guess that was bad. I never experienced it, but then again, I don't have a lot of M390 blades that I'm hard use testing. Because what are you doing with your knives on a daily basis where you need something that is at 63 HRC on a daily basis? For me, the most important thing for me when it comes to a knife is its stainless properties, because I work outside with water, around water, in the rain. So I need something that is going to be reliable for me and it's not going to rust. I could throw it in my pocket and not care. That's why I like the quiet carry stuff. This is the quiet carry Chase. And if I know it's going to be a rainy day, that's going in my pocket. When the hurricanes were going on and I was outside working, that was in my pocket because I could throw that in my pocket and I could do all the things that I need to do with this knife and not worry about it rusting or anything else. That is kind of the most important thing for me. And I think within the knife community, it's great to say, oh, I have this knife, it's an S90V, or I have this knife and it's in Vanax, or 4V, or 3V, or whatever, of M4, all these crazy numbers and letters. To everybody on the outside, they don't care what that means. They don't care. They don't care. And the biggest question is, are you using those knives to their edge? Are you really using it to beyond what they're capable of doing? Or are you opening Amazon packages all day? Maybe cutting some cardboard down. So that's the biggest point, is how many people out there are really using their knives to the peak performance for which they're designed. I would venture to believe most people don't. So then why do you have it? Just so you could say, I have this Spyderco and this other steel, instead of, I have this pair of 3, it's an S30V. It's not Maximate, but how many people are really pushing that Maximate or 3V, or I don't know. I don't know what they have anymore to its potential. How many people are really doing that? How much cardboard are you really cutting? Are you batoning it through wood? What are you doing with your knives that you really need all of those things? I think that was the biggest question. How many people are actually doing that? And why do we make such a big deal about it? So when someone asks, are you going to make knives out of S90V or more Magna Cut or blah, 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 and I'm kind of like, well, why? And I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say that, but I want you to think about it. Why do you want me to? Does it make it any better? Or is it just for you at the end of the day to say, look at this knife, cool, it looks so good, and guess what, it's an S90V. I can buy a bar of Nitro V, so you can see, that's like a 2-foot bar. Yeah, 2-foot bar for $30-something. Let's say that. And I looked up S90V, and it's about $100 for that same bar. So that cost ends up going to you, because I have to recoup my costs for the products, or for the steels and the handle materials. But mostly you're paying for time that it's going to take me to try to cut that, shape it, do everything with it, and turn it into the knife that you are wanting. So, you know, when it comes to that question of steels, I'm making slowly strides. I would like to, we're doing Nitro V, AEB, and 80 CRV2. I would like to maybe do CPM 154. I don't know. A lot of people seem to do that. And maybe I'll try, but is that better than Nitro V? I don't know. I try to heat treat to 61 HRC. And with, right now, if you buy a stainless blade that I have sent out to Peters to get heat treated, you're going to get a copy of this. And at the bottom shows the hardness level. So you can see right there, 61 HRC. So that's AEB-L, that's the Hawk, and the Spike are both AEB, and they have both been heat treated to 61 HRC. So I feel like that is a great hardness for a blade this size, or even the Spike that's this big. I think it's a perfect hardness for that. They came out really good, and I'm really happy with the way that they came out. So when someone asks about the steel, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm really not. But really, it's, why do you want me to? Just so you can say it? Or are you hard using your knives to the point where you need something that's better quality? Well, we can chat, but you're going to end up having to pay for some of that with the cost of the blade. So instead of me charging $200, $250, you're going to be way over $300 for a blade, just because the material costs and the other things that are involved, abrasives and everything else, just to get that thing finished. So I do apologize to you, Nick. I didn't mean to be a jerk. I'm sorry. But this question comes up a lot, and I do my best to try to answer it, but you get it. So anyway, that's kind of my little rant for this week. But yeah, for me, the most important thing is it stainless? Because that is what's more important to me. And this is LC200N, which is a great steel. It holds somewhat of an edge. It's not perfect, that's for sure. But for the most part, I'm happy with that steel. So, okay, off my soapbox. All right, updates. The Hawk and the Spike, which I just showed, are both finished. I still have them here. The Hawk's going to be, or the Spike is going to be going off to its new owner here in the next week or two. The Hawk I'm keeping with me for a little while. There's somebody who I'm going to offer it to because of how they were involved with the planning on that. So we're going to be chatting a little bit more. But those are all finished. So now all of January is finished. And now I'm focused on February. And February is the blooms. So we're going to be doing all blooms for the month of February. And they are all in pretty decent shape. So this is an ADC RV2 bloom. They're all fairly good. I need to do some hand sanding. I had some issues with the plunge grinds, so I had to kind of smooth those out a little bit more. But they are looking pretty good. I gotta just finish that, so I gotta go back, hand sand them all out, and get them looking good. Once they're looking good and I'm happy with them with the final finish, then these, I'm gonna put the maker's mark on them, and we're gonna be talking handles. I also got word today that the 3 AEB blooms, sorry, my brain is like slowing down. The AEB stainless blooms have all been shipped. So they are all on their way back to me. So I should have them early next week, probably Tuesday at the earliest. So those are on their way back. So that means all 6 blooms are on their way back. They've all been heat treated. They've all been tempered. And we're going to be looking at doing handles for all 6 very, very soon. So I'm really excited about getting these done. They're all going to look really cool. And I'm really excited about getting them out to you guys. So I might be getting them done a little early. So if they do, there's a lot of other things that I have that I could be working on, because this is an opportunity for me to try to stay ahead. If I get all the blooms done in time, maybe I'll start some package hatchets. Maybe I'll prototype some other new designs. I know. New designs. So right now I'm sitting on at least a minimum of 2 new designs, possibly 3. A mixture of small and a mixture of 4 fingers. So I don't even know if I should share this picture with you guys, but I'm going to share one picture with you. One picture only. You're going to get this picture right here. So let's see. How am I going to be able to show this? Let's see. Okay. There's your peak. That's one of the 3 that I'm looking at doing right now. I know the last thing I need is 3 more designs, but I'm working on it. I have a problem. Help me. So anyway, I might be doing that by the end of this month. Who knows? Also, the March books are going to be opening. Now, the March books, there's a lot of new people that just subbed to the channel. If you're interested in getting on the books, you have to follow along. March books will open the end of February sometime. And then there's only 5 spots available. So I'm only going to be doing 5 spots. And I will do my best to get the word out to everybody to let them know of when and where I'm going to be dropping that video. Again, I dropped the video here. You see the video, you message me on Instagram or email me AriesEDC@gmail.com. If you could do those 2 things, then that gets you possibly a spot in the book. But they do fill very fast. But still reach out. Don't wait 5. If you wait 10 minutes and you were like, nah, it's full. No, message me. Because last time, it was about 30, 45 minutes before I filled the books. So don't be afraid. Reach out, email, message me, see what you think, and just try. Because you never know, I might try to give you a little Iggy on the next time I open the books. Especially for those of you who have been trying for several months to get on the books. I know, I do my best to try to help everybody out. So that's kind of what I have. I just introduced the Bloom character to my channel supporters. So those of you who are channel members to YouTube, you got to see the new Bloom character. And to my Patreon, you got to see the new Bloom character. It is stinking cool, and I'll be releasing that here very, very soon. Looking forward to doing that. I need to do the t-shirts and everything else, but I think I'll just reveal the character first and then try to get the shirts done before the February blooms come out. Because, you know, if you have a bloom, you got to have the t-shirt to match, right? So anyway, guys, I think that's enough. I don't want to ramble on too much on this one, but that is what I have. So thank you so much for listening on this. This is my 87th TNFNU, and it's been pretty stinking cool. So thanks for watching, guys. Please remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. Again, the choice is always yours.